Welcome to the 5% Club podcast, the space where ambitious leaders go to master their careers and their lives. I'm Shayla King, a former C-suite executive turned performance and happiness coach. And this is the podcast for leaders who want it all. The promotions, the paychecks, and luxurious amounts of time for what matters most. Each week, I'll teach you how to work less, make more, and design a life you love. Let's go.
In today's episode, we are talking about unlocking the king mindset, the missing skill set of high-performing, happy executives. And I could not start this episode without talking to you about Mr. King, my dad, and a quick story about where this mindset originally came from. So my grandpa, Popsy King, had this saying in his house, and it went like this: any man can smile when life goes along like a song. But the man worthwhile is a man with a smile when everything goes dead. Now that is a saying that I have lived by, and my dad taught to me, and it really is the truth that life keeps lifing. And recently I shared, a sad news for us that we lost a baby that through a miscarriage. And I think it's times like that, and times when you wake up out of a coma, and times when, you get in a car accident, your tire's flat, your friend says something mean, you fail a test. So that's when it actually matters how we show up. Because it's easy to show up with a good mindset and attitude when life goes along like a song. But when we get to show who we truly are, it's when we can show up when things go dead wrong. And so I wanted to just share for a second about how my dad was able to truly give me this king mindset. And since then, I have built it into a part of the program as I've learned more and more life coaching knowledge, more neuroscience around the brain, and truly understanding how our thoughts create a reality. I have talked to you before about how I want you to rate yourself 1 through 10 and where you see yourself. Maybe say you're a 6 or 7. We've talked about how one wants to date a 6 or a 7. Or we've talked about how no one wants to hire a 6 or a 7. Well, let me tell you, my dad, he used to call himself Michael the Great, the Great King. He brought level 10 energy every freaking day. Some of you know him. He was an executive at Boeing and Spirit, and he was known for being able to always be heard before he could be seen. So he would be walking through the hallways, singing every day. And one example that always makes me think about this energy, level 10 energy that he brought because of his mindset, is this story. One day, it was 4:30 in the morning, and he starts screaming to my stepmom, oh my God, Sharon, come here. My dad has a really thick New York accent. Sharon, come here. She's like, oh my God, what? What's the matter? And she runs into the bathroom, and he goes, have you ever see this good looking of a man and this early in the morning? Right? That is level 10 energy. That is what we're talking about. And he could bring that on the good days and the bad days. And that's how he taught me to be resilient and bring that when I was going through the coma, when I'm going through the loss of a child, when I'm going through a difficult divorce. And so being able to master that mindset is key. That's what this entire episode will be about. And think about ways you can bring that Mike King level of level 10 energy. Still to this day, when I call him, you know what he tells me? So glad you got to talk to me today. I want y'all to bring that energy. Bring the energy of I'm so glad you got to be in my energy today because I am bringing it, right? And a lot of my clients say that's one of the reasons that they love working with me, so they can always get that energy from me. You want to be able to cultivate that energy, that enthusiasm, that zest for life, right? And it's something that you can do when you learn how to rewire your brain. Now, in this episode, you'll learn about the king mindset and how we literally reprogram your brain to get away from the automatic negative thoughts and into that king mindset, that level 10 energy. Here we go. Listen now, you're going to love this one.
All right, here's what no one tells you. Most high performers aren't stuck because of a lack of skill, talent, or ambition. They're stuck because of what's going on in their brain. Most leaders have thoughts like, I should be further along. They probably don't see my value. I have to say yes to prove that I'm a team player. I'm not doing enough at home or at work. And those thoughts, they create guilt, they create shame, fear, pressure, and eventually burnout. When I look back at my own transformation from being overwhelmed, overworked, I was a complete workaholic and stretched so thin, to leading mergers and acquisitions, sitting at the executive table, the biggest shift wasn't external. It was internal. I learned how to manage my own mind and my own thoughts. I created what I now lovingly call the king mindset, and it changed everything. So what is the king mindset? I used to have friends all the time that we would be talking about a subject, and when I would explain my thoughts on it, it just felt so different and so powerful that she would always say, hashtag king mindset. And so it was used so much that I was like, you know what? That's exactly what I should call it. So my last name is King, and it really is the mindset of a leader. It's the mindset of somebody who wants to experience life differently than everyone else. It's how you train your brain to create a life and career you actually love. Not just with effort, not just with productivity, but with powerful, intentional thoughts. I never knew before that I could control my own thoughts, that I could control my own feelings, and that having the right thoughts and feelings is what would drive the right action so I could get anything that I wanted. So if you're constantly operating from guilt, fear, or pressure, even your best intentions will feel exhausting. But the king mindset teaches you to think on purpose, feel on purpose, and create on purpose. Where everything we're doing is about being intentional. So you'll learn how to take back control of your thoughts, energy, and emotional state. You'll learn not to be a victim. You'll learn to lead from belief and not fear. And most importantly, you'll start showing up as the version of you that already has what you want. We do a lot of self-concept work in my one-on-one coaching to help you step into that next level and next version of yourself. And we've all had them. There's so many times in life where we want to go to the next level, but we just think it's not available for us. Right? I was a little girl from Kansas, and my mom thought that I'd be like the assistant manager at the grocery store. And my dad heard that it pays really good to be an air traffic control person and thought maybe that's what I should do. And those were just the dreams that we had from where we came from what my parents knew and what they were exposed to and what I was. But every time you get to a new level that you didn't expect out of yourself, then you realize it's not as crazy here as I thought. Right? It's not as stressful here as I thought. I've had it happen in like boardrooms too. You may be able to relate to this. So you are like, I want to join that team. I'm just not at their level. Or I hope they don't see me as an outsider. Oh my God, I got promoted. I'm going to be in the room now with everyone. I hope I don't stand out like a sore thumb. And then you get in there and you're like, this is what they're talking about? My God, I thought they were going to do really high level strategic things over here. Really? This is it? They just have like some more experience and stuff? I thought they were way smarter than me. Well, I got this. Yeah, no problem. I got this. And you then settle into that next level. And then immediately, that is no longer the uncomfortable challenge. Now the next level is, right? So you can constantly get yourself to that next level. You can constantly up-level your life by having different thoughts that help prepare you to get there. Now, the other example I love on this is the idea that, when you're in third grade, you have to graduate. You have to go to fourth grade. How are you going to do it? You've never been a fourth grader before. You won't know what to do. You've never done fourth grade math before. How are you going to learn it? How are you going to fit in? What are you going to do? It's just the next natural step. And in our lives, at some point in our careers, we just get scared about going to that next level. We did this, but that's probably where we're going to cap out. And it's usually one level above what our parents did. That's what seems like we've really accomplished it. We really made it. And now we can be satisfied. And anything more than that is just like unreasonable. We're supposed to be grateful. Well, one of the sayings that I have with my clients is that we are grateful and we want more. And pushing yourself to change your thoughts and be able to up-level and constantly go to the next version of yourself is exactly how we were designed. We were designed as humans to want more. We were designed to grow. And I want you to figure out who the hell you are and what you're capable of and make yourself so proud, right? And so that all starts with mindset. So there's 4 foundations of the King mindset that are going to be part of the Performance and Happiness Lab. I don't just teach theory, I teach tools. So I'm going to explain to you how we build it inside the Performance and Happiness Lab so you can know exactly what will be part of that experience. The first part is pre-work, and it's on owning your mind. So I'm going to teach you the tools I teach my one-on-one clients around understanding your inner critic and turning down the volume on negative stuff and turning up the volume on positive stuff, and gratitude work and thought downloads and different tools that we use that help you learn to start seeing your thoughts so that you can start changing your thoughts. Remember, we have somewhere between 60 and 70,000 thoughts a day. 90% are the same as yesterday. So we have to rewire our brain, create new neural pathways so that we're naturally thinking of the positive instead of the negative, right? And so I've done exercises where I've shared my inner dialogue with my clients so they can see what I wake up to and what goes on in my head. Because this is after years and years of practice. My brain doesn't default to negative. It doesn't default to whining. It doesn't default to poor me and I'm tired and I'm exhausted. My brain defaults to thoughts that serve me. And I'm human, so I'm still going to have some negative thoughts, but I also know how to find them quickly and change them quickly. And that's what I teach my clients. You can't change what you can't see. So that's the kind of pre-work that we're going to do. I'm going to give you some great tools to get you started on understanding the practices so you can see the thoughts going through your head. Then in month 1, I'm going to teach the model. This is the tool that can change your life. You can apply it to any situation in the entire world and reverse engineer exactly why you got the results you got, or learn how to create the results that you want. So the model is from Brooke Castillo in the Life Coach School, and I'm certified with her tools. And this will blow your mind. It will teach you how to self-coach. It will show you exactly why you're feeling the way that you're feeling and exactly how to change it in an instant. We don't have to go back in time for 50 years and talk about why things are the way that they are. We can change them immediately moving forward. It is so powerful. So month 1, we're going to talk about the model and about taking yourself seriously. It's been one of my mantras the past few years. I take myself seriously. I take my business seriously. I take my dreams seriously. Making that part of my self-concept changes how I show up every day. It changes whether I am dressed up for work. I'm wearing a purple linen dress today, or whether I show up in, sweatpants on the bottom or pajama pants on the bottom because it's, still the COVID look where you can throw on a nice top and be on Zoom and have the sweatpants on the bottom. It changes the difference between if I plan out my calendar for the week, if I plan out my calendar for the month and the quarter, or if I just show up and do some things and try to push things along. It also determines whether or not I actually show up and do the things that are scheduled on my calendar. Because whenever you're trying to do something, it's really simple. I have a goal, and either I don't have a good plan or I'm not following the plan. Those are the only 2 things that can be wrong, right? When I take myself seriously and I take my dreams and my business seriously, I show up. It's who I am. It's what I do. That's an example of a thought that can help me show up and act in a different way, right? I've probably talked to you before about how I like working out. I don't like getting up in the morning. My bed is extremely comfortable. I have glorious sheets and blankets. I sleep with it super dark and super cold, and I have great sleep, y'all. And I don't want to get out of bed in the morning. I want to stay in that comfy little cocoon. But I got to go to the gym because it's who I am. It's what I do. I'm a healthy, fit adult. When I align myself to that identity, I behave accordingly. Otherwise, you're just waiting on willpower to change your life, and it doesn't work that way. It starts with changing your thoughts, right? So month 1 inside the Performance and Happiness Lab, we're going to learn the model so you can self-coach, and you're going to learn how to take yourself and your dreams seriously. How to stop reacting and how to start choosing, how to stop spiraling, and how to coach yourself real time. So we're going to start showing up as if we already have the thing that we want, as if we're already at the level that we want, because belief comes first. All right. So that's what we're covering month 1. Month 2, we're going to go through high and low value cycles and how to feel and work through failure. So in our lives, we naturally have high value cycles where we are like getting so much done. We're feeling great. We're motivated. We're aligned. And then something happens and we have low value cycles. This could be in a dream you're working on. This could be in your daily career, right? And it's kind of like a roller coaster where you're like, God, sometimes I love this job and sometimes I just hate it and I feel like I have to get out. And we're going to teach you how to manage low value cycles so that you can understand those cycles so that you don't have to go as deep for as long. We're still human. We're all going to have high and low value cycles, but you don't have to go as deep for as long, because the more you can stay in a high value cycle, then the more you can get done. And then I'm going to teach you how to feel through failure. Here's the thing. One of the biggest ways you can start to achieve more is by limiting the low value cycles that come unnecessarily, eliminating unnecessary pain. And where it comes from is shame. So you try something, you put yourself out there, you're courageous, you go for it, and it's an epic fail. The next thing that happens, you feel shitty about it, you're down on yourself, and what do? You stop. You retreat. You don't keep going. You take less risk, right? And it takes you longer to come out that time because you've been hit. That's only because you're feeling shame. I'm going to teach you how to fail and how to look at yourself just like you would at a project at work. We're always going to evaluate. We're always going to do an after action review. And we're going to say what worked, what didn't, and what do we want to do differently. And when we go through that cycle of what worked, what didn't, and what do we do differently, it's just factual. Just like, yeah, I screwed up here. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said this. I should have done this. And next time I'll do A, B, and C. And then we go. There's no shame. There's no doubting ourselves. There's no being down on ourselves. It's completely, it only hurts you and puts you backwards. So we're going to be intellectually honest with ourselves. Sometimes what happens too is when you are so sensitive to failure and when you bring in all those insecurities, then you also don't get as honest of feedback from others or from yourself. I had to work with a gal on my team before who was really sensitive to feedback. She's a very high performer. And just like me, I remember being just like this. We wanted to do so good in our role that we tried to be perfect and tried everything and only wanted positive feedback. Like getting performance reviewed sucks, right? I should probably do a podcast just on the performance review. Let me know if you want a subject on that. But it's like, I was talking to my husband the other day. I was like, I wonder if I was in corporate right now and I got a performance review, how much different I would take it. Because listen, entrepreneurship really teaches you how to fail. But I feel like right now, if I went through a performance review and my boss gave me negative feedback, I'd be like, oh yeah, I totally screwed that up. Yeah, that did not work. Here's what I think I should do differently next time you agree with the plan, right? And it just wouldn't be anything that would affect my ego at all. I, just like you, am a whole person that is perfectly full of value. I am a Christian woman and I believe that God gave us all equal value. And so because we have that value, none of these things can change it. Our actions and our mistakes and our wins, none of it changes it. We have full value. So then sometimes we do some stuff that works and sometimes we do some stuff that doesn't work. And we have to learn how to evaluate that without shaming ourselves. Yeah. The good thing is that we wanted to go through this experience so that we could learn how to do more uncomfortable things. It's a requirement for clients that work with me that you are willing to do uncomfortable things. And so maybe even just getting the rep in of doing the thing was the goal. Or maybe getting the rep in of, like, if I help business leaders with a launch for their program. So maybe just getting the rep in of the launch is what you want, right? Not even enrolling 50 people. Just getting okay, now I know how to make the social media post and what to put out. And I know what language resonates and what doesn't. And I have all these drafts for the future. So you don't have to have the ultimate success be the goal. Sometimes the goal can just be the rep. And regardless, you're just going to say, here's what I did wrong. Here's what went right. And here's what I want to do next time without feeling bad about it. It does not change your value or worth as a human being. Okay. So circling back. So I had that employee who was really sensitive to feedback, and I had to have a really honest conversation with her and tell her, if you continue to be this sensitive to feedback, because she was like, I mean, it was polishing the diamond. She was amazing, right? But if you are this sensitive to feedback when you get it, you will receive less. I want you to hear that. If you relate to this, if you're sensitive to feedback because you try so hard at work and you want to do so good that you hate hearing that you did something wrong, if you are sensitive to feedback, people will give you less. Your bosses will give you less. Your peers will give you less if they think you're fragile, if they think that you'll hurt or cry or it will be hard on you. People don't like conflict. They don't like emotions in the workplace, right? Sometimes in general. And so you have to be able to take that feedback in a professional manner where you will get less of it and you will develop less over your career. Okay. And so that's what I'm going to teach you month 2 is how to feel through failure and how to build emotional resilience, not fake positivity, but real strength. And you'll learn to feel failure without spiraling. So when you do fail, and it does feel shitty and sad, you'll learn how to feel those feelings without spiraling. Because when we can feel anything, we can do anything. A lot of the times when we pull back, it's because we're scared of the emotion that we don't want. And so if we let ourselves feel anything, then we can do anything. All right. Month 3, we are going to go through, Mel Robbins wrote a book called The Let Them Theory. It's a new book. I absolutely love it. And so we're going to spend some time on that and on self-definition. And so what this means, the Let Them Theory is the idea that, well, and this is something I've coached on before that book, on just the idea that we write a manual, a playbook for everyone else in our lives. So we write a playbook for everyone in our lives. And it's basically like, here's exactly how you should behave, according to me, right? You should do this, think this, feel this, act this way, respond this way, do all of these things this way, according to me, because I have a playbook for what you should do with your life. And when you don't follow the playbook, I get kind of pissy. And I don't like it. It bothers me. You're doing it wrong. So it's my job to come in and tell you that you're doing it wrong and tell you how you should be doing it, right? This is natural judgment. We all have it, and it makes us suffer because we try to control other people, and you can't control other people. And so we have these playbooks for people, and we have to learn to let them go. And so this Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins talks about how to let them live their own life. Let them make their own decisions. Let them be them. Let them not follow your playbook at all. And then let me decide what I want to do about it. Okay. One of the examples that my coach uses is if she's in the car with her friend and they're going to smoke, that she says, like, you can smoke in the car if you want. My boundary is that if you choose to smoke in the car, I'm going to get out of the car. Right. So let them. You can do whatever you want, but let me make a decision on what I'm going to do based on those actions. So I'm then going to exit the car. That's a healthy boundary. That's about the decision that I'm going to make if something passes my boundary. And your smoke getting on my side is not something I want. Okay. So we'll go through the Let Them Theory. It's really a beautiful, clear, simple message on how you can release all of your expectations and take a lot of tension out of your relationships and just learn to simply love people the way that they are. And then the second piece is self-definition. So a lot of people have so many opinions from other people's playbooks on their own life that it's hard for them to truly know what they actually want. There's so many shoulds out there, especially for moms, especially for women. And there's all these ways that you should feel and you should think and what you should do and what makes you a good person and a good mom. And even when it goes to like, you shouldn't bully, you should include everyone. You don't have to include everyone. You can do what you want. And I'll do a podcast on this because it's near and dear to my heart. And I see so many friends suffer because they're trying to do what they should do, what would make them a nice friend, a good person, instead of what they want to do. And it's so much easier when we can just do what we want to do, set our boundaries, love our life, show up in a good mood, not do things we don't want to do so we don't become resentful, right? And let people be really clear on what our yes means yes, or no means no. You don't have to read between the lines. You don't have to take care of me. I only do things I want to do, right? And so this piece lets us really define what good looks like for us. I'm going to define not just what I want out of my life, but also what my values are. I'm going to define when I decide if I'm a good person. So in tricky situations, I'm going to decide if I agree and I like my reasonings, not what other people in my life think or want me to do, right? And that really makes things clearer for you so that you can do the things that make you feel aligned to yourself and the best version of you. And that's what we're going to go through in month 3. So we'll stop managing other people's opinions. We'll let people be wrong about us. It's one of the most freeing things ever is when somebody misinterprets your actions, misunderstands your whys, thinks that you have malintent, and you don't have to correct them. You can let them think all the negative things. You can let them be wrong about you. So freeing. You'll build a self-concept that you actually like, that you want to impress your own damn self, right? And true confidence comes from being someone that you can count on. So we'll work on that as well. So the result, when you adopt the king mindset, you're not just more confident. You're more grounded. You're more clear. You're more emotionally regulated. You're unshakable. I just have this peace that everything is always going to be okay. I keep my power in situations. I don't let other people's emotions switch me one way or another. Silly little people do silly little things, right? And we go through that as well. So you bounce back faster. You lead like someone who belongs in the C-suite because you believe that you do. All right, here's your evolve work for the week. I want you to ask yourself, what thoughts are running the show for you right now? See if you can find some trending thoughts. And are they helping me become the person I want to be? Where can I take myself more seriously this week? Pick one belief to shift, one emotion to practice, and one decision to make from power instead of fear. That's where it all starts. That's the king mindset. You're going to train your brain. You're going to think on purpose, and you're going to create on purpose. All right. So now that you've got the full picture, results, relationships, rituals, and mindset, these aren't just nice to haves. They're the core skills of high-performing happy executives. And if you've been listening to these episodes, nodding along, thinking, yes, it's exactly what I need, then I want to personally invite you to go deeper with me inside the Performance and Happiness Lab. This is where we don't just talk about the work, we train for it. Inside the lab, I'll coach you through the exact tools, strategies, and mindset shifts that I use with my one-on-one clients so you can build a career and life you actually love. Not just performance, not just peace, both. You'll learn how to achieve bold results without burnout, strengthen relationships at work and at home, create rituals that fuel your energy and joy, and master the king mindset so you can lead from belief, not fear. This is the training for the 5%ers, the ones who want to up-level their whole life, not just their title. The doors to the PH Lab are opening soon. Until next time, have a great week. Let's evolve together.
Thanks for joining me in the 5% Club today. If you're ready to work less, make more, and design a life you love, go to ShaylaKing.com to join the 5% Club waitlist. Each Monday, I'll send you something you can implement immediately, and you'll be the first to know when applications open for the Performance and Happiness Lab, my group training program designed to accelerate you into a happy, confident executive who loves their whole life. See you there.